students are seen and heard within their school communities, that they are given opportunities to participate in everything within a school. I know that families feel very comfortable when they come here, not just only when they visit, I think they feel it right away, but certainly what we hear from our families time and again, that their son or daughter was known, was taken good care of. What's really important is who you are as a person, and that you demonstrate compassion, and you demonstrate respect, and that you are considerate of your peers, and that you're a participator in activities. First and foremost, Bement is a school that serves students that are actually in kindergarten through grade 9. And we are a small school, one where students are known by everyone within the community. And I think that's one of the strengths about Bement that sets us apart from even some of the other junior boarding schools is our size. I think it's really important that students are seen and heard within their school communities, that they are given opportunities to participate in everything within a school, certainly their academics, but also their athletics and arts in a community, and just to have those opportunities to be able to participate. It's not limited to just a few students. At this age level where students are ages 10, 11, 12, 13, they're in developmental stages that need closer supervision and that really benefit from the care, support, and love of a close-knit family-like community. And I know that families feel very comfortable when they come here, not just only when they visit, I think they feel it right away, but certainly what we hear from our families time and again, that their son or daughter was known, was taken good care of, was able to really grow and develop and become their best self because they were in an environment that allowed them to discover new passions, pursue things that they loved, and really build confidence. This is my 17th year at the Bement School. I'm a proud parent as well. My daughter was here kindergarten through grade 9 before going off to boarding school. I always hope that I have the best job in the whole school because I have the opportunity to meet families when they're just discovering Bement, and we get to know the students, and then I get to watch them come to Bement and grow during their time and graduate, and then they come back and visit. And I think that's not one memory, but I guess just being able to see the journey that students take is so fun for me and exciting. We celebrate at the end of each school year as part of our acknowledgement and celebration of our graduates, a ceremony that's called the farewell ceremony. And our faculty, as a surprise to the students, so students don't know who will toast them. And this is in front of their peers and in front of their parents. Each ninth grade student who's graduating is presented by a faculty member and sort of summarizing their experience and their time at Bement. And I'm always so touched at how our faculty and staff know our kids so well. There is that sense of belonging and acceptance that happens here at Bement, that students trust the adults that are their caretakers and their inspiration and motivators, determining fit and how we choose. I often get asked the question of how do we choose the students to accept at Bement. I always say that it's a hard decision. We are very fortunate and we have wonderful applicants who come through Bement and learn about us and love this part of the admission process. It's probably my most favorite part in admissions is the opportunity to learn about students. I guess first or decide, is Bement a school we should consider? I would say that's the first part of that fit question. And then the second part is what we're looking for. As families investigate secondary schools and junior boarding, and then if they decide, yes, junior boarding is something we really want to seriously consider. As I mentioned, there are several of us. Some are co-ed, like Bement. These are both boys and girls. Some are all boys. Some are closer to metropolitan areas like Boston, and some are further. We're in what we would consider sort of a semi-rural environment, and there's some that are even much more. One of the things that we encourage families to do is to think about what is important to them in terms of school size, location, who they're serving, and then to look at what are the programs that the schools offer. For instance, what are the athletic opportunities that are available to students? Can students play an instrument regularly? What languages are offered for a student? Is there English language support if that is needed? Is there academic support if that is needed? is there academic challenge and acceleration if that is needed? Really thinking about what a family is looking for, and then to ask those questions of those schools to think about, does it make sense for us to explore Bement, for example? And I'll give you a specific example. We may have a student who demonstrates interest in Bement, wants to start the application process with us. And when we start to learn about them, and they say, we really enjoy playing soccer, and we like to ski recreationally with our family, and we play the cello. But I've been a lifelong ice hockey player, and I've played that for a number of years. Our reaction and our information for families is to say, that's wonderful. You've shown great team sportsmanship, being a part of a team, having outside interests, and balancing the time. Those are all wonderful aspects of a candidate that we look at. But then when we say, okay, if hockey has been really important to you, we don't have ice hockey. So maybe we're not the right school to consider based on your interests. And families then have to make that decision to say, okay, how much of a priority is that? And I sometimes help families with that, because I'll say, if your child has gained so much from this sport or activity, maybe they've gotten from it what they've needed and they're ready to try different and new things, great, pursue us. But if that's something that's really helped them create their identity and something they would really miss, there's wonderful other schools that have ice hockey. It's trying to narrow down first based on what's important to them and what the fit might be. Similarly, I encourage all the parents, and I know it's a lot of homework for them to do, but to really think about what are the values and the core expectations for students at each school. Does the values demonstrated by a school match with what a family feels is really important? Because it's very important that there's trust between a family and a school. And we want families to feel good and comfortable with an environment where students are, what's important at Bement, the most important thing is being a good person, right? Academically, yes, you need to be a good student. But what's really important is who you are as a person, and that you demonstrate compassion, and you demonstrate respect, and that you are considerate of your peers, and that you're a participator in activities. Those are things that families should also think about. Is what's important to them match with what's important from the school's perspective? Considerate of your peers, and that you're a participator in activities. Those are things that families should also think about. Is what's important to them match with what's important from the school's perspective? Once that happens, the families say, okay, and they go to the application process and students are applied. It's then, how do we choose, and what are we looking for? And we certainly are looking for students who academically we know are going to be able to handle the rigor here does that look differently for a student going into 6th grade than for a student who might be going into 8th grade? Absolutely. Because there's less time for the student to build the skills that they need to be ready to depart from Bement. Are there natural connections, meaning there's an interest in doing the things that they will have to do at Bement, like play an instrument or sing or be on stage or play a sport? That doesn't mean a student has to already do all of these things. We know sometimes students might have spent years playing the piano, but really their passion is that they want to try the drums, or that they're excited about maybe having played tennis with their parents or ski recreationally on vacation, but they've never picked up a lacrosse stick or a field hockey stick that they're excited to try. That's what we're looking for. Students who are really excited to participate, be fully involved in school community. There's not one magic thing that we're looking at. I would say, and this is where I feel like I have to tell families again and again, because I don't think families believe me. Even though we do ask students to submit test scores, that's not the important thing. What they should be thinking about is when they have their interviews with schools, and this is true for Bement, but I think it's true at all the schools and the secondary schools too, and the high schools, is be yourself. We really want to get to know the students for who they are, because we want it to be a good match. We don't want students to come to us just because Bement's a great school. Bement is a great school, but it's not a great school for every student. And it needs to be the right fit for every student. There's so many wonderful schools out there. I would say that there's probably many wonderful schools that families haven't even heard about. And it's helping students to be in the right place so that they can be successful, that they can flourish, they can be happy, so that they can really be their best selves and gain that confidence, understand sort of where their own strengths are, that help lead them in their next steps.